would have Melissa Ruff here, I think.
Stand up,
Thank,
face the flag, right hand over your heart, ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
thank you, thank you. Roll call, please, Aline.
Director Lang,
Here.
Director Nichols.
Yes.
Director Hopper,
Yes.
Director Cussworth, Director Bus.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. We also have a special presentation by our youth outreach group. What an honor it's going to be. San, who's going to make the introduction?
Yes, Sarah's gonna jump up and take it away.
Oh, Sarah.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Dodd, supervisor for the Thousand Oaks Teen Center. Good to see everybody. Chair Lang, members of the board and administration, good evening. With me tonight, I would also like to introduce.
Jade, oh, hello. Should I start all over? Can you hear me now? I speak normally loud anyway, so you probably heard what I said, right? Hello. With me tonight is Jade Dodwell, recreation coordinator for the Thousand Oaks Teen Center as well. Tonight you will hear everything about the youth outreach program and get a better understanding of the importance of what the program is and what it does. The youth outreach program was developed over 40 years ago and is considered a community social service program. The program funding is a 50-50 collaboration between Conejo Recreation and Park District and Conejo Valley Unified School District. Taking over the presentation from this point on, I would like to introduce the youth outreach team. With us tonight is Danielle Bandian, Luis Sanchez, and Crystal Rodriguez.
As youth outreach specialist, our goals are as follows: to be a trusted adult and mentor, to guide, develop, and encourage youth, redirect youth into socially acceptable behavior, to help youth recognize the consequences of their actions in and out of school, to identify community resources, provide education support, recreation activities, job skills training, provide or set up volunteer opportunities, and teach and support life skills training for the teens to make the most out of their lives. Currently, youth outreach focuses on students at Colina, Los Cerritos, Redwood, and Sequoia Middle Schools, along with Westlake, Thousand Oaks, Newberry Park, and Conejo Valley High School. We have been asked by school administrators to provide an early intervention group at Walnut Elementary School, working with fifth graders as well. Each student we see must be referred and have a signed permission slip. Referrals can be made by teens themselves, peers, parents, and any school staff, but must ultimately be approved by school administrators. Each referral form is good for the entire school year. Over the past year, we have seen student referrals go from 120 to 212, which is a 77% increase, which shows there is a need for our services. Some current trends we see within the middle and high schools are poor academic performance, increase in personal stress and anxiety with no coping skills, poor life skills, poor social skills, such as eye contact and learning to express themselves verbally, not physically, poor self-image and confidence, decreased ability to develop positive peer relationships, poor judgment, which leads to getting in trouble more or hanging out with the wrong crowds, and the need to have a positive role model due to unstable households. We learn to understand their lives to help and support them create goals and a more positive path in life.
Social emotional learning. The outreach team was approached by a Westlake High School teacher after she found out our scope of services. She was struggling with motivation in 2 of her classes. The students were disengaged, disrespectful, and behind academically. Outreach came into her classes with different social emotional topics and offered activities that require students to get to know one another. We would provide group discussions, worksheets, and group games. After the 8-week program, the teacher has seen students more engaged in their class, more respectful, and overall a better attitude. In partnership with Thousand Oaks High School students, The outreach team helps facilitate intramural sports. This program provides structured competitive team play during students' lunch hours. Students choose to participate and are recruited by peers. The program is a great distraction for students who would typically display negative behavior during unstructured time. It also serves as an opportunity for outreach specialists to connect more and further their relationships with students in a fun environment. We have provided ref jerseys, trophies, and awards to the program. We also provide general supervision to ensure safety and rules being followed. The intramural sport program has been successful with approximately 102 students participating so far.
Cycles for Success program has developed a partnership with Kiwanis 1,000 Oaks. Volunteers pick up donated bikes and make needed repairs. Teens can verbalize the need, or staff can make a referral for a student to get a bike. The bikes provide around the town transportation to jobs and to school. So far this year, we've given out 27 bikes. Thank you.
We all have worked hard at building relationships with Conejo Valley Unified School District, administration, and staff. This has greatly benefited the program and the Teen Center. We can be seen on one of the campuses each day of the week and are treated like part of the team. Youth outreach can be seen during lunchtime to assist the Teen Center promote each event they host. The team also has been asked on several occasions to provide support for some school events. Attending a day outing as a chaperone with Conejo Valley High School students for the Bite of Reality program, which is a financial planning workshop, providing activities at the end of the year barbecues, presenting at ELOT meetings, and chaperoning Latino Connection Dance. The outreach team also provides and/or participates in several community programs. The biggest and most impactful is providing teen clubs at 3 different locations for teens that reside in underserved housing communities. I will cover it in more depth in the next slide. We also organize a one-day meet and greet program where local social service organizations provide information to school staff, participate in Arbor Earth Day to collect donated bikes, provide group support at Reality Party where we partner with 7 different organizations to provide parents a mock walkthrough of a teen party, and participate in local resource fairs to provide information about the program and Teen Center. As mentioned, the Teen Club programs are offered at Conejo Creek Neighborhood Apartments and the Los Feliz area at Shadow Apartments, with support from Safe Passage and Adelante, and the Los Árboles Apartments with support from Area Housing Authority. With the 3 locations, we are able to cover all sides of the Conejo Valley, as teens would otherwise have a hard time getting across town after school due to lack of transportation. These teen clubs are crucial to the community because we have seen a clear trend with teens. Examples are outside of school boredom, not completing homework, poor use of unstructured time, so they are getting into trouble and getting involved with local gangs. As a result, we try to combat these trends with a once-a-week program at each location where students are provided a safe and positive after-school environment. In addition, teen clubs allows us to build and maintain relationships with students and continue to gain their trust. During the programs, the students are offered snacks and activities such as group discussions, homework help, games, arts and craft, and excursions during non-school days.
Outside of school sites and community programming, our team can be seen at the Teen Center, which makes up 25% of our responsibilities. We organize and lead winter, spring, and summer camps sponsored by the school district, Safe Passage, and Adelante. We teach classes such as cooking and jewelry, attending special events and outings, or just hanging out with visiting teens. Also, our office space is set up where we can meet with teens in smaller groups outside of school. Once a year, we also host a 3-on-3 basketball tournament for alternative education schools in Ventura County that take place at the Teen Center. We now would like to share some testimonies from current students who we work with.
One of the things I like about this program is that every Tuesday, Dan and team host the event, neighbor, and they give us all of this hang out and have a good time. Dan really helped me control my anger and showed me that fighting isn't the way, it's the solution.
We have the honor of also having 3 students who would like to express their gratitude for the program in person. First, we have Natalia Rengel.
Hi, my name is Natalia Ringo and I attend Westlake High School as a 9th grader. I am grateful for the opportunity to share to you about this program that has a significant impact in my life, Youth Outreach. I would like to express my appreciation to Luis and Crystal for their unwavering support and a strong bond that we share. What I appreciate about this program is that it provides a safe space where you can talk your mind. You don't have to talk about your mental health or any issues that you may be facing. You can talk about anything and they will listen. I can relate to this because when I first joined the program, I spoke of things such as clothes, cars, and trucks, and not necessarily about my mental health. I appreciate that I was not pressured to discuss my emotions and they still listened to me with the same level of care and attention. When I joined Youth Outreach, I noticed a positive change in myself. Initially, I did not surround myself around the best people. However, when Lisa and Crystal approached me and we became close, we talked about the people I associated with. I realized that I did not like their actions and behaviors. Luis advised me not to surround myself with people who do not positively impact me, as the people we associate ourselves with shape our personalities. Since then, I have chosen to surround myself with better individuals and have seen a significant change in myself.
Hi, board. My name is Casey Soper, and I'm a youth outreach student at Westlake High School. I'm in 9th grade. Youth outreach has helped and impacted so many students' school life in so many different ways, whether that means providing bikes for students without transportation, buying students new backpacks, or simply being there to talk. Personally, youth outreach is my outlet to unwind and talk about stress factors in my life, while receiving smart and helpful advice. Youth outreach creates a safe and efficient environment for students all around campus. Specifically, one time that youth outreach was helpful to me was when I was having an extremely rough day. There was random, annoying, and stressful events that kept occurring over and over. At lunch, I saw one of the youth outreach specialists, and we talked through the day. He helped me realize that this one day in a week would not be such a inconvenience, and the little inconveniences in life would not have a huge effect on me in the future. And finally, that life is too short and it's up to you to make it sweet. Thank you to Luis and Crystal for making our CVUSD schools better. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jocelyn Jimenez, and I am a junior at Conejo Valley High School. What I like about outreach is how much they have helped me since the first day I started meeting with them. All the support they give, the confidence they have helped me find in myself, and the way they reward my success. Since joining, I have changed a lot about myself. I am more confident when I am approached by tough situations. I've become more lively with everything around me, and I have been more optimistic about my personal goals. Outreach has impacted me by recognizing and interpreting difficult situations. It's helped me shape my beliefs and attitude, which influenced my behavior, leading me to take positive actions and making the best choices for myself. An example when an outreach worker made a positive impact in my life is when I had a horrible habit of having physical altercations with people and my peers. They helped me recognize the more positive ways of approaching confrontations and guide me to a better version of myself that has benefited me in good ways only. Thank you to them. I am more involved in peace, kindness, and full of positivity.
At this time, I would like to end our presentation and open up any questions. I also would like to send a personal thank you to our 3 speakers that came in person. They're very impactful.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. I was also going to start with a big thanks. You guys really tell the story and you show how important this program is. So thank you. Other board comments? I'm going to start with Director Huffer.
Yeah, I want to add my thanks to you three young ladies for being brave enough to come out here and speak publicly about what the youth outreach program has meant to you. We can hear the adults talk about, we can see reports about what's being done, but to hear from you folks who are actually using the programs is really important, and we really do appreciate you doing that. Thanks to the three of you who are in the youth outreach program. We get regular reports on what the three of you are up to out in the community. When I first joined the board some years ago, I had no idea that something like this was going on. I figured all the counseling was done just by the school district, and the fact that the Park District is partnering with the school district to provide this service, I think is absolutely wonderful. Just one of a number or many partnering opportunities that the district has in the community. So what the three of you are doing for the youth of our community, what you're doing for the community overall, we really appreciate, and thank you so much for everything that you do.
And thank you, Director Huffer. Director Buss.
Wow, this presentation makes me quite emotional, I have to say. So my husband graduated from Conejo Valley High School. I myself, when I was younger, had gotten to a physical altercation at the teen center and was banned for it in 6th grade. So I understand coming from a home life where you have anger and you maybe hang out with the wrong people and you get yourself into situations and then you kind of feel like, how do you get out of this? And I just think this is so important for our community. And I absolutely adore all of you because we get your reports and I just love to see them. And I love this presentation to know like how you are actually impacting everyone. Because as a youth, if we had this when I was there, I would have been involved in this. So, I think it's such an important part for young children or young adults, I should say, upcoming, to have an adult that is not related to you to be able to speak to and to be able to help them, guide them out of situations, because it's a hard road to navigate. But hey, look at me, I'm sitting up here on the dais now. I always joke around about it with my husband. My husband went in the military, he's a fire captain. Like we just joke around about, the kids we were. Some of the parents wouldn't let their kids hang out with me when I was younger, okay? So it doesn't dictate your life. I think this program is absolutely amazing. And I would really like to know how we can support this more, because I think it is so important in today's society.
Thank you so much, Marissa, and especially that personal witness that you experienced and as an example for the young people. Okay, Director Nichols.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think all of those in the room who have been through middle school and high school know the challenges that are there just by itself, and let alone with some other life issues that you may have that kind of can complicate things, can just add to the challenge of making it through those years. And to have this trio and the support network that they provide through the district and the staff here, I mean, it's a privilege to be able to be a part of that and to see how it works. My wife works through the adult school program, had been at Conejo, now over at CME, and the stories that I hear from her of those students that didn't have a program like this and got a little further astray, and then after realizing a few years later, yes, I got to get back into school again and kind of straighten things out. It's great to see that you are actively involved, those who spoke, and the trio that we have here that are kind of keeping some friendly barriers around these people, kind of protect them a little bit, make sure that they do kind of stay a little closer to what they should be and away from those alternative influences. So it's encouraging that not only do we provide that, but that you're actively participating in it. And I know you then can share that with your peers, your friends, and your family, and it continues to grow. So thank you for participating. Thank you to the three of you for being actively engaged, and particularly with the school district, and Jay and Sarah, I know you are supporting them in so many ways, just to kind of keep it going. And just like Director Buss said, we want to be able to help as much as possible. I know it's just a 50-50, but for some reason, I think we take a little closer to heart. I know the school district always, claims they're their students, which they are. But it just seems like, we have a lot of the facilities, a lot of programs. We're going onto the campuses to do it with, whether it be recess and elementary ages or actively engaged. So I certainly want to continue with that, because I think it's makes a good network to fall back onto, and makes our whole community more productive, throughout each and every step that we take. So, and gosh, those of you gave the presentations, what a great job. Thank you. You're well-spoken. Speech contest next for all of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Nichols. Yes, you are great examples just to be here and able to share and willing to share your experiences and the benefits of this program. And also, as you go through life, you'll be faced with many challenges. Think about your outreach specialists and what they would say, how they would react, and kind of use that as a guide. Couple of questions, maybe staff and so forth. In reference to this program, 40-some years, correct? Is that correct, Sarah? And I know you haven't been around that long, but are there any indications that, or comparisons you can make between how we started this program 40-some years ago and what it is today, and the benefits that these young people reap from our program?
Well, I know someone that's been here longer than I have. I used to work as an outreach worker back in the day.
And almost 40-something years.
Sure. Answer for that would be a long time ago, 40 years ago, we started, it was funded by 3 different sources. It was the police department, school district, and the park district. That was the original concept. And then with the resource officers coming into play, it was decided just to have it, jointly funded. But a lot of the, with the community, what they do out besides the schools is remarkable too. That should be definitely noted, because they do spend a lot of time out at different hot spots where kids hang out, and just walk right up to them, start talking. It's not a skill that's easily attained. So the outreach team.
Okay. On the bicycle program, do we ever have any recipients, as they go through middle school and high school, after they're through using their bicycles, do any of them bring them back to the youth outreach and have them quote unquote recycled?
We've had a couple come back, and then with our partnership with the Kiwanis, we're able to reach out and have them refurbished back into the community. And the bikes that we're not able to use, the Jane's Storehouse makes use of them. So it's a completely sustainable program. Bikes come in, the bikes suitable for our teens get used, bikes suitable for other people in need. We make sure that, they're occupied, so definitely.
Yeah, I think that also shows the gratitude of those individuals who have been using them, and maybe, when you do present bikes, mention when they're through using them that, we'll be willing to take them back and refurbish them for others. It just kind of, to me, it shows that they appreciated, having this opportunity to have a free bike and so forth. So.
Yeah, truly makes a difference. And also they share with their neighbors their experience, and some people come to us and say, you helped out, so-and-so, now we want to give back. So it's really good.
That's terrific. Any other board comments? Yes, Marissa.
So I noticed a little bit ago, you started going to one of the elementary schools. And I was curious if you think that that is a trend that will continue, and then how will we, because obviously I'm sure you're very busy with the three of you with what you're already doing.
Yeah.
How would we support that?
That was a specific early intervention with fifth graders that would be at high risk at the middle school to get them sixth grade ready so that they would have a better experience. So what had happened was the middle school and the elementary school connected, and they identified 5 students that were really struggling. And those 5 students, when they get on campus in the fall, can really be disruptive, not just for themselves, but for others. And so the idea was to have an early intervention, get them used to talking with a trusted adult, see what they need, see how we could help. And it was just really specific to help those students going into Sequoia. So I have Sequoia, I have Redwood as my middle school. So for instance, because that school needed help, I was able to transition a little bit of my time to help the specific need for that school. So Walnut feeds into Sequoia. So that, yeah, it's a good possibility, and it's very useful. There's always more use to be on different campuses. So, yeah.
Currently our scope of service that we have only is written to serve middle and high school students. So it was a special approval that we got, that Dan was able to go to the Walnut School.
Okay, yeah, my daughter goes to Sequoia, so I hear all about it.
Yeah.
She's a sixth grader, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been interesting. So, okay, so that was just a special instance. You don't think that you'll be?
I think it was just a
continuing
group of kids that were identified as needing
Yeah.
some additional support in order to be successful in middle school, but it's not a regular practice that we go
Plan
into
on
the
to
elementary
continue.
schools.
that? Okay, yeah, I was just curious because we see it in the reports and I was like, what's going on here? So, thank you.
Any other board member comments? Again, thank you, staff, Sarah, Rochelle, everybody that participates in a program like this is to be thanked. It's gratifying to know about the program and gratifying to know that we've got the results of these young people, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Okay, we're moving on to item 4, items from the public. Do we have any public online? John? No? Okay. Okay. Then we're moving on to item 5, approval of the agenda. To entertain a motion at this time.
I'll move approval.
Thank you, Director Huffer.
I'll second that.
Thank you. And anything come to mind as far as questions in reference to the agenda? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, hearing none, that motion will pass. Moving on to item 6, consent calendars. A, minutes of April 18th, 2024 regular board meeting. And B, approval of warrants, accounts payable, checks registered $658,671.96, and the payroll at $535,150. Any specific questions? And if not, how about a motion?
I'll go ahead and move. We accept the consent calendar.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Director Nichols and Bus. We have a motion and a second. Any other thoughts, questions come to mind? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions, hearing none. That motion will pass. Item 7, deferred matters. I'm going to open a public hearing on our preliminary budget fiscal year 2024-25. We have any public wanting to speak? Doesn't look like it. At this time, I'm going to, you keep looking. Is there anything in, anyone? Okay. Okay, with that, I'm going to close the public hearing. We're moving on to item 8, items for discussion. We have none. Item 9, new items. A, consideration resolution 050224-A for landscape maintenance 92.1 Rancho Conejo, preliminary approval excuse me, of the engineer's report for 2024-2025, declaring intention of to provide annual levy and collection of assessments and setting time and place for the public hearing in the future. Staff.
Thank you, Chair Lang, members of the board. As you're aware, we have 3 assessment districts. The first item will be Rancho Conejo. This assessment started in 98, fiscal year 98-99. The assessment law, actually, we have to do an annual preparation of the engineer's report. And the attached resolution provides for that notice public hearing of the board for our June 6th meeting. And this year, we're looking at an increase for the maintenance and operation of Rancho Conejo Playfield. Last year, it was $110.19. It will be going up to $115, or as proposed is $115.94. And then also based on the CPI for the past year from February to February, it's a 3.357% change for the maximum assessment. And so the maximum assessment will go from $118.57 to $122.55. Attached to the report is the engineer's report, as well as a full history of the assessment as included. So I am available for questions.
Thank you, Andrew. Any board member have questions associated with these reports? Yes, Director Nichols.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do have a handful of questions, but most of them are directed at this report, or I should say this item. And I think a number of them might be relative to the others, but we'll shoot them all at you for this one, then we can go from there. Some specific, like I said, some specific, some more general. On page 9 of this item 52 of our packet, there's a description of the anticipated capital improvement projects for the Rancho Conejo district. And it includes pickleball courts and parking lot expansion. Can you tell me how many parking spaces are proposed to be installed as part of that expansion?
We only have kind of a conceptual layout. It would be around 50 to 75 depending. So it'd be basically phase 1 of Rancho Conejo included about 50 parking spaces. The phase 2 of it included, of the parking lot, included 50 more spaces. And so we'd be kind of in the same ballpark as that. But we would have to assess when the time comes.
Okay. I just was kind of curious of that. And then with the facility titled as a playfield, I just want to kind of preface this by saying I went through our list of facilities and looking at neighborhood parks, playfields, community centers, and I know there's a variety of names that we've used. Not all of them say playfields, but the one thing that I noticed is with playfields and some of the service areas that it has, I think it's 0.75 to miles to a mile. It seems like that's kind of small in my mind because so many playfields serve a regional use. Is that just a national standard that we've adopted for that?
So my understanding is that we've taken national standards and fit that into the geographics of the district and the city as we built the master plan over time. That's something that staff is taking a look at with our current master plan update that we're working on of redefining, as we mentioned, some other park type, right? Like a micro or mini park. And then how does that serve compared to a neighborhood park, and playfields is part of that conversation. So that's something that we would take a look at further if the board or certain board member would want us to kind of take a further look. But it's exactly what you mentioned, 3/4 to 1 mile is what it serves. And the intent is it might serve the broader community, but then also remember that the play fields also serve as a neighborhood park within that zone as well. So it's not just for large sporting events, but it's also for daily activities and use at the facility.
Yes, no, I certainly understand that. And I know that's the case for all of the playfields and parks that we have throughout the district. One thing that caught my attention though is with the 6 pickleball courts anticipated to be added to the current number of pickleball courts. I can't remember, we have 8 out there or something.
We have 6 dedicated, 4 multi-stripe, so we have
Okay.
10 total.
And we kind of direct a lot of our inquiries to that facility. It seems like it's serving more than just the neighborhood. And so I'm wondering when you have 12 pickleball courts, which is the most that we have in our district, I'm just trying to weigh in my mind how that could be considered a specific benefit more than a general benefit. And I'm curious, with the population of the district, what would be a reasonable number of pickleball courts that you would consider to be a specific benefit versus a general benefit?
Yeah, so typically let me just double check that. So for this, the general benefit of Rancho Conejo is 26%. As defined in the engineer's report. So that is the general benefit of the entire public using that from the outside. And that's either people just outside the service radius for the master plan or per Rancho Conejo development, or going all the way to the far corner of the general benefit of the population using that within the district, right?
Mhm.
So it's a broad range of what general benefit is defined as. So it really, there is a difference between, perfect example, Conejo Creek South, a district-wide facility.
Mhm.
It's actually a play field and it's defined as a play field within our master plan, right? So there are different designations. Whether we would want to change Rancho Conejo to district-wide just because of one amenity increase, that would be there would be a conversation. It would be kind of going against the formula that the master plan has served for over the years. But again, yeah, a play field can be from a district-wide use, like Conejo Creek South, whether it's pickleball or tennis or soccer fields or event space. So.
Okay. I understand that, and I know I did read the 26%. But I'm just wondering if we were to take a survey of that facility any particular time as to who the users are over the course of a year, would we be able to say that about 26% of the use is general as opposed to specific? And I just would guess, with the number of pickleball players that we have, I think it would be more than that. And again, not that we have to do that for each and every facility, but that just caught my mind because pickleball has been such a hot topic lately, and we just went through a large discussion of that. I just want to make sure that we consider things like that when we consider the specific versus general benefits. When just in my mind, I'm thinking, it just seems like there's a lot more general benefit to that facility than 26%.
And from a numbers standpoint, like if you look on page 52 of the packet, that chart shows $1.65 million cost to the capital, and to just to note, all 3 assessments have capital projects included in it, right? And so taking a look at the total cost spread over 10 years, it would be $165,000 to be able to execute the work as planned and proposed or listed in the engineer's report. But if you look on page 53, when you really look at what capital improvements we're designating from the assessment, it's $45,500. So it's greatly reduced, about 0.25% from the assessment district would be put towards capital improvements at that facility. So again, it's a balance of, hey, not to say that we get a grant or use general fund money or PDF money to be able to develop it or fund completely the project if pickleball ends up being selected for that property to move forward. But again, it's a balance between the general use as well as the defined special use of that facility.
Okay, and I had this question later, but I'll ask it now since it comes to mind. While the term formally used in the report is specific benefit, it doesn't really mean the sole benefit. It just happens to be a benefit like above and beyond to that community, but not that it's their private facility in essence. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. So it's still a public park. It still can be used by people outside the district. It's not defined. It's a little bit different at Rancho Conejo because there's only one facility there. Just like Dos Vientos, we have people that are not from Newbury Park or Dos Vientos that are coming up and doing great programming at the community center, at the play fields, at the neighborhood parks, you know, all the fun stuff that happens in the park. So however, just like that'll be the next item, taking a look at Dos Vientos's environment or engineers report. It's a public amenity that can be used by all. So
Okay, all right, thank you. I don't remember where I read it. Oh, if I could, well, I guess here it is right here on page 20 of the item, but 63 in the packet. This is in the Times font, so they said they pulled this from a previous report. But it says that the Rancho Conejo Playfield Park site does not include lighted playfields and therefore does not meet all the master plan criteria for a playfield facility. Now, since this was from a prior report, and they actually, you know, the last sentence says phase 1 construction is equivalent to a neighborhood park. Is that all still current?
So little bit, so this, as we got a new, if you remember, SEI is the new preparer as of
Yes.
last year for this
Yes.
report. They've done our general for many years or from the inception, I believe. So part of practice is not to change the engineer's report that's been established.
Okay.
We do update it, but the intent is that it has served its purpose. We update the financials and update any special benefits or case findings and stuff as such. But the goal is the meat, if you will, of the report stays the same of what was done, why do we have the assessment?
Okay,
So
so does it currently meet the definition of a playfield then?
yes, it does. Per our current master plan, it
Yeah.
does because
Okay.
playfields may or may not have lit facilities.
Okay, well,
So-
that's what I was wondering because we call it a playfield. And I just was wondering if, again, because I knew this was from a prior report, if that had been changed.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you know, just pulling from our master plan specifically, it says typically, these parks are typically oriented to day and night lighted athletic use, but that's typically, right? So there you may or may not, depending on the facility, which we have a mix throughout the district.
Okay. All right, I'm checking the things off that I got here. All right, got that one. All right, on page 22 or the item 65 of our packet, the top paragraph, I was trying to, again, this goes back to the original report, so maybe you can help clarify that, but I was trying to determine what the intent of that statement was saying, where it says, it is estimated that no more than 2% of the cost to provide and maintain such improvements is attributable or considered a general benefit to properties and people within the district. And 2% of the cost seemed like a pretty minimal cost. I'm wondering what was the intent that they were trying to convey through that statement, if you happen to recall.
Yeah, and I believe if you read further in the next paragraph, it kind of breaks down a little bit more of, again, going back to the 26% of the cost to provide district improvements to general benefit. 24% of that are properties outside the district, but 2% being indirect general benefits to properties and people within the district. So from an indirect, I think it's a tough thing, and I know we have a real estate professional on the board, but it's the indirect cost, like you said, maybe not people don't necessarily enjoy the park, but they gain a benefit from the park because parks are good. Parks throughout national databases brings up property values, all that. So I think there's some indirect nature of that percentage is my understanding of the report. So
Okay.
there's, and I'm just using that as one example. There may be others, but that's my understanding and interpretation of that.
Okay.
So, but I can always further clarify and discuss this with our consultant and get back to you. too.
Okay. Well, that's I appreciate that because I know this, as I mentioned, came from some of the original reports. And we're trying to keep it along for a legacy purpose. And I think you kind of touched on this, but just want to ask it one more time with parks, playfields, community parks. You said that are you kind of assessing all of our facilities throughout the district as part of the master plan to determine, do they still fit those definitions or have they evolved, and the service areas within that? Is that all part of the master plan review?
It's been conversations. It's definitely been conversations of, hey, is there a better way for us to kind of serve the public with the facilities that we currently have and that are developed, and if there's an opportunity to be able to expand an existing smaller facility or downgrade, if you will, another facility. The goal of the update of the master plan isn't to do a full assessment of that, to kind of shuffle the deck, if you will, but it's definitely come up in conversations with myself and Jim, as well as planning staff and our consultant, but we're currently not at a stage to start changing designations of properties. As I mentioned, we are looking at with 500 Teal Boulevard moving forward with a neighborhood park element of taking on a mini or micro park as we've discussed. So there's a new classification that we would be taking in front of the board, but we're not looking at reclassifying any parks at this time.
Okay. All right, I think that'll take care of it. Thank you for indulging me, Mr. Chair.
Good job, Director Nichols. Any other board members with comments or questions?
No.
Okay. So we have item to approve. And we're actually a resolution. So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to accept the resolution covering this item. Director Huffer.
Thank you, Director Lang. I'd like to move adoption of resolution 050224-A regarding the landscape maintenance district at Rancho Conejo, that the resolution be read in title only, and all future readings be waived.
Thank you, Director Huffer. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Director Buss. Any other comments or questions come to mind? If not, read a resolution, please, in title only.
Resolution number 050224-A, a resolution directing preparation of the engineer's report, declaring intention to continue assessments for fiscal year 2024-25, preliminarily approving engineer's report, and providing for notice of hearing for the Conejo Recreation and Park District Landscape Maintenance District number 92-1, Rancho Conejo Playfield.
Thank you, Elaine. Any other comments or questions come to mind? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, hearing none, that motion will pass. We're moving on to the next item. Consideration resolution 056224-B and Landscape Maintenance District 94.1 Dos Vientos, preliminarily approving the engineer's report for 2025, declaring an intention to provide an annual levy and collection of assessments and setting time and place for the public hearing. Staff, please.
Thank you, Chair Lang, members of the board. Similar to Rancho Conejo, annual preparation of the engineer's report. This assessment actually started in 96, 97. There is a resolution included for the notice. This includes all 4 park sites that are in Dos Vientos. So Dos Vientos Community Park, Del Prado Playfield, Dos Vientos Neighborhood Park, and Sycamore Neighborhood Park. There is a proposed assessment increase going from $318.46 to $331.15. And same percentage base for the change of CPI for the maximum rate. So we would be proposing last year was $387.33, and the proposed maximum rate would be $433. The engineer's report is attached to the report, and there's also a historical summary attached at the end of the report. I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Andrew. Board members, any questions? Yeah,
Yes,
Director Nichols.
Thank you. I do have one question on this one. Mr. Mooney, regarding the capital improvement list that we have here on page 98 of the our board packet. In the paragraph, it mentions that if all the improvements listed below could not conveniently accommodate the cost within a single annual assessment, but would be instead over a period of 10 years. But it doesn't indicate, what is the time frame of actually conducting or actually installing these improvements? What would be the forecast for that?
So, yeah, all these projects are listed on our 10-year CIP. So that document, first 2 years are budgeted and approved by the board. Years 3 through 9 are planned and balanced, but not funded and budgeted or approved by the board. And year 10 is there for planning purposes, as well as year X. So that is outlined exactly how, and I could pull, I think I do have our CIP if you have a specific question on a certain project when it would be executed, per our 10-year CIP. But all of these would not be in our current, let me just double check so I'm not misspeaking. None of these would be in our current approved budget.
Okay, well, that's why I wanted to clarify. I didn't really say that, but that was kind of my expectation. So I just wanted to clarify that we wouldn't see this whole list completed in the next year or two. It's somewhere in the future.
Correct.
That's all I want. Just wanted to verify that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Thank you, Director Nichols. Any other board members have comments or questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion for this resolution. Director Huffer.
Well, no one else is gonna jump in.
You're on a roll.
Yep.
I'm gonna move adoption of resolution 050224-B, preliminarily approving the engineer's report for Landscape Maintenance District 94-1 Dos Vientos, that the resolution be read in title only, all future readings to be waived.
Thank you, Director Huffer. We have a second, please.
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second for item 9B. Any other comments, questions come to mind? Aline, could you read that in title only, please?
Resolution number 050224-B, a resolution directing preparation of the engineer's report, declaring intention to continue assessments for fiscal year 2024 to 25, preliminarily approving engineer's report, and providing for notice of hearing for the Conejo Recreation and Park District Landscape Maintenance District number 94-1 Dos Vientos Range.
Thank you so much. Any other comments or questions, board members? If not, all in favor of this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, hearing none, that motion will pass. We're now moving on to item 9C, consideration resolution numbers 050224-C, directing preparations of engineer's report declaring intention of levy assessments for 2025, preliminary approving engineer's report for district-wide park maintenance and recreation improvement district 62-1, and providing for a notice of the public hearings. Staff, please.
Thank you, Chair Lang, members of the board. District-wide landscape maintenance improvement district started in 2001 fiscal year, and same process as the others, with a little bit of a wrinkle is that we do have a maximum 3% increase annually, and so we are proposing to utilize that maximum 3% increase for this year. The benefit unit cost would be $42.75 from last year, increase of $1.29 for $44.04. Would like to note the property owners in Rancho Conejo as well as Dos Vientos pay half that rate. So they pay because they have their own assessments for their own. When this assessment was set up, it was, hey, we're going to give them a 50% rate of the overall rate that the standard benefit unit pays. So with that, we do have a resolution as noticed in the title, to return back to the board on June 6th, the environmental or engineers report. And the historical summary is attached to the report. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Andrew. Board members, any questions? Yes, Director Huffer.
You mentioned the 50% cut that they get on this for Rancho Conejo and Dos Vientos. Just out of curiosity, would both this district and the either Rancho Conejo or Dos Vientos appear separately on the tax bill? I'm just out of curiosity.
I don't think I've ever really looked at it. I believe it is all separate, just like school district and county fees and stuff, but I believe it would be 3 different assessment districts listed on your property tax bill. Yeah.
Okay, so if
Correct.
someone was ambitious enough to take their tax bill, someone who lives in Dos Vientos and looks at their assessment for this final
District-wide.
and they compared it to someone who doesn't live in Dos Vientos, they would indeed see a 50% discount on the fee or the charge for this district.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Just curious.
Thank you. Yes, Director Nichols.
Yeah, and a follow-up that same thing, because I didn't notice that documented here anywhere in the report regarding the 50%, and not opposed at all. It's probably a good idea. But I'm just wondering, where is that documented?
Yeah, so we actually have it. When you go to page 148 of the report, we do have a zone benefit map. And so zone A is district wide. Zone B is Rancho Conejo and Dos Vientos carved out. And so when you look at, if you look at the budget allocation to property total assessment budget, the chart kind of mid page, and you take a look at single family rate per unit, you have the 44 rate for zone A and you have the $22.02 rate for zone B.
Okay.
And that's referenced to the map that's attached to the report. So, and all 3 assessments have a map that shows who are we assessing, what is the boundary of that assessment. So Rancho has Rancho, Dos Vientos has Dos Vientos, and then this one has everything but carved out the other 2.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Director Nichols. Any other comments or questions come to mind? All right, I would entertain a motion for this resolution.
I'll give it a try.
Atta girl.
All right. I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 050224-C, consideration of directing preparation of engineers' reports, declaring intention to levy assessments for 2024 to 2025. Something else you have to say though.
That's the to be read in title
To be read in title
only,
only,
and all further readings
and all further readings
be waived.
be waived. There you go.
Very good. How about a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Director Huffer. Oh, thank you. Now I can officially feel as chair.
Of course.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve item 9C. Aline, would you read that in title only, please?
Resolution number 050224-C, a resolution directing preparation of the engineer's report, declaring intention to continue assessments for fiscal year 2024 to 25, preliminarily approving engineer's report, and providing for notice of hearing for the Conejo Recreation and Park District.
Thank you, thank you. All right, we have motion and it's been read in title only. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions, hearing none, that motion will pass. And thank you, staff, for bringing this before us and getting it all prepped. We're moving on to item 10, reports and announcements, 10A, B, and C. Any comments or questions associated with those 3 items? Okay,
Yes, sir.
go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Mooney, question for you, and this, just because this piqued my interest. On the list of projects that you have, and I always appreciate the color coding. It makes it so much easier to interpret. Item A 1.05. I don't see a page number. It looks like it's page 189, but it's not listed. It's the first pull-out spreadsheet.
Yep.
And it's regarding conduct ADA assessment / improvements of district facilities. And this just brought to mind the public comment we heard at our last meeting regarding the restroom. And I was wondering if, I don't know that she mentioned what actual park it was, but was that part of this assessment, and what was concluded at that assessment?
Yeah, so there's, we have, and depending on the park, I believe the park was either Pepper Tree Playfield and Wildflower Playfield. That's what it looked like to me. I didn't get a great look at the picture, but that's what it looked like, gang bathrooms and a CMU structure. But so part of that budget gets reviewed, like our playgrounds that we just completed this past year. We do an assessment during the planning of that, and we take a look at the whole park site, not just the playground, but take a look at the restrooms, take a look at deficiencies, driveway, paving, seating, drinking fountains, you name it. We take a look at that, and our consultant provides a list of items. And that particular amenity is something that I have not dealt, it's not a standard ADA amenity. I have not dealt with that amenity as a professional in my time. It's something that I did look into and took a look at. But currently my understanding is that that greatly exceeds the ADA standards. And so it would be more the factor of, if we had a facility that it would fit at, it would be a conversation with staff to be able to implement in the footprint, because it does have certain constraints with it because of the size and things like that. So, but then also it's not a child station where it's a little bit different. There might be additional assistance with being able to get an adult up on the changing station table, that type of thing. So, but basically, in my understanding of developing teen center, that we just went through the permitting process, updating those to meet current ADA standards, the Global Adult Center, as well as Conejo Community. We did not have those requirements. Not to say that we can't, like we typically try to exceed requirements with all of our projects, but that is a new request from the public from that we got last meeting or 2 meetings ago. So.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, that your understanding of the public comment was requesting facilities to accommodate needs that are above and beyond what ADA standards are?
Correct.
So do you know if those restroom facilities meet current ADA standards?
Well, if we could pinpoint I know those two properties have been reviewed, and if it were those 2 properties, then I would say yes, they, per the review of our consultant, that they met ADA standards.
Are you aware of some of our restroom facilities that still do not meet ADA standards?
It's tricky because it's a moving target. A lot of it's access. So a cracked sidewalk, anything over a ½ inch technically does not meet ADA standards. So there could be one good today. Tomorrow it's not good because of settling and cracking and things like that. So our goal is to, every time we do significant work, that we bring it up to those standards.
Okay. Well, yeah, I understand sidewalks because that changes, but as far as if ramps are in place, if the door widths are in place, the handles are in place, the configuration of at least one restroom facility, if those are all in place, and maybe over in time wear and tear, or like I said, a sidewalk. But I just wanted to, get a pulse of all of our facilities that have restrooms have ADA access, at least at one time or another when it was improved, and maybe they always need a little dressing up, but that we're trying to keep up with that.
Correct.
Okay. All right. That was it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Director Nichols. Any other comments or questions, other board members? I have a couple associated with the therapeutic recreation program when they were assisting the Thousand Oaks Police Service Unit. Now, is that group just for the police? Like when they had this, the golf tournament, it was just police, or were there fire personnel also competing?
The group that Devin has, it's actually a program that was put together and recommended to us from the chief of police. So it's his project while he's there. And so they've worked together, and these young folks, there's about 8 to 10 of them that participate in a monthly event that is hosted, that the police kind of help pick where they're going to go or what services they might help. So I don't know if that particular event, there were firefighters there, but the program is a partnership with the sheriff's department specifically. They're working with the sheriff's department to learn about things. Like I went to one of their meetings and they learned how to take fingerprints off of things. So the police are leading those outings. And they may go into the community and volunteer at different things, whether it be like the street fair or the golf tournament. They go and work that event.
Okay, very good. Andrew, under item 10B, the various programs on, it's right after page 188. Down towards the bottom, CIP projects associated with the Crowley House. And I know there were construction issues and safety. Where does, and this particular item is for, indicates a construction fence. Is that kind of like a barrier outside the project?
Correct, yeah. So last summer, through spring of last year, we had engineer assess the property and deemed it not usable for the recreational uses that Rochelle staff was using it for, and just occupancy to have people inside. And so we put up a perimeter fence that could be used now for just general public safety. If you're aware of Parc de la Paz, there is populations that come and go. And so we had folks that were spending time close to the building on the porch and things like that. So the goal was to be able to, from a public safety standpoint, put up a perimeter fence. We have continued conversations with building and safety and with our engineer, and we're hoping to get some feedback from them on it, but we've been coordinating that with the city. So yeah, the goal is to really take a good look at the building to kind of see where we can go in the future with the budget that we have, and also just long-term to find a home for Rochelle's programs there.
Great.
And the fence is beautiful. It's a really nice fence. It's not like a construction fence.
Yeah, it's a painted wrought iron fence.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't been by in a long time, so that's good. Then on the next spreadsheet, about a third of the way down, under district-wide clearing of non-native vegetation, is there any particular area within the district that is really out of control or worse than others?
Yes and no, depending on how you look at it. We have palm issues and other invasive species throughout all of our drainage ways and kind of natural, nice scenic areas throughout, like some of our on the fringe of our developed parks, but then even like through Sapley Trails, the Lane Creek that runs through there. So we do have opportunity areas, and we've been as seasonal clearing has allowed, we've been able to get in there and do some work. We've done recently work like over at Stagecoach the past couple months. I know we've done some work at Sapley. So it's really case by case type of thing. So.
Okay. Just, with all the rain we've had and other issues, I'm just curious if there's one area that's really above and beyond the others. One last question associated with item number C, senior nutrition lunch program. Rochelle, it indicates that we served 4,812 meals for the seniors. Is that kind of average each year, or is that high or low, do you know?
That's for a 3-month period, and they are actually serving more. The grant was for about 60 something people, but I think as you heard when Julie was here, they're serving between 70 and 80 people for lunch coming in and out. So they have been, since COVID, serving a decent amount more.
Okay, very good. It's, as we all know, that's a important program and for our community. I'm glad to see that now that we're really responsible for it and so forth, it's really, I'm really happy to see that. Okay, I think we have no further comments or questions associated with that. So we're going on to department reports. Item 11A, Parks Division. Mr. Mooney.
So if you remember, we took, thank you, Chair Lang, members of the board. If you remember, we attended the Planning Commission for 500 Teal Boulevard. I mentioned that last meeting, and that project has been approved by Planning Commission. It's to be determined for council approval, but it's kind of first step in the development process. We're getting about 3/4 of an acre of a public-private park site there. So that will be kind of the first dip of the toe in that kind of park property for us. So with that, I'm available for questions.
Thank you. Yes, Director Buss.
I can't remember, are we maintaining that park or are they maintaining that park?
No, they are maintaining it.
Okay, it's just counted in our,
Yeah, it's we will have public access agreement for use of the public at the park site.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Any additional questions of Mr. Mooney? Okay, we're moving on to item B, Recreation Division. Rochelle.
Thank you, Chair Lang, members of the board. Chair Lang, just to answer your question, I did a quick little search and the Battle of the Badges was the fire department against the sheriff's department. So you are correct. And then on other notes, we got news today that the CLU men's volleyball just became the national championship for Division III. So you guys will see them. We've actually reached out already and they've said that they are going to come. And because it's the end of the school year and we've got to move really quick, they will be here next week, next board meeting. So that is our plan. As you saw today with outreach, I've been super impressed with them. I have visited 2 out of 3 of the teen clubs that they do. And I spent hour and a half at each, at the 2 of them. I got to see Dan in action over at Conejo Creek area with a bunch of the Borchard staff. And then Crystal at Los Feliz. And I was thoroughly amazed. When Los Feliz started in the Shadows apartment area, we were lucky if a couple kids would come to the tutoring program, and she probably had a good 15 kids coming in and out of that program. And the relationship that they have built at the schools, like Dan was talking about the elementary school, I got to actually meet one of the boys that he works with, and got to just meet some really cool young people that, you know, shook my hand, colored with me, offered to play cards with me. Just super great program. And, you know, the ability to be able to come in and use the restroom if their house is full of people and they can come and do that or get a snack and just not have to do anything, but just be able to be there. Really neat thing that they're offering. And it's nice to see that the kids are actually utilizing it. So that was really cool. And then just a little update. You guys heard about financial assistance at the last meeting. You should know that we constantly, per our goals and everything, look at our systems that we have in place. I actually had heard from the community at an advisory committee meeting that I went to. So all of my units have advisory committee meetings twice a year at a minimum with different people from the community. And at one of the meetings, we had heard about the EBT card and were asked why we weren't using that or able to use that. So I immediately did some research on it and found that the county's guidelines for how you get an EBT card is very similar to our financial assistance. So I immediately implemented that we could take the EBT cards. And so that had been in place and we had been notifying the community of that. But since then, that board meeting, I did additionally ask some additional questions to staff and stuff. And so I've worked with staff and we'll have a new process rolling out, or it's not really a new process. It's just gonna be a fine-tuned process. So hopefully it will be easier for the community, but also I'm fine-tuning it so that my staff don't have to do as much hands-on as they are. So basically Raquel and I are gonna be taking a lot of the responsibility on, since it goes through us anyhow. So we're making some tweaks, but one thing you should know is that even the county EBT card requires that you're a citizen. It requires that you have proof of income. It requires that you're a resident. I also reached out to Pleasant Valley and CME, and I can assure you that we have a much more robust financial assistance program than other places do. I also got online with CPRS and I asked anybody out there if they had anything. I received about 3 or 4 other districts that gave me information, and all people ask for taxes, proof of income, and those types of things. So we're not doing anything that's not normal. So just that you should know. With that, I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Rochelle. Any questions? Not specific to your report, but I know I read it. It must have been in the rec highlights. The use of the rec van, is that keeping fairly busy now? Or, I mean, I know it was a slow start versus as far as getting it out in the community and so forth.
Yeah.
How does that stand right now?
So with any new program, it takes a couple of years to kind of get it off. So we've tweaked a couple of things, and Melissa is in charge of it this year. And so she's trying some different things. She's super creative. So she's got not that Tim isn't, but but she's got some new things and some new challenges for our staff out in the field. And so we've got one coming up, I believe, this weekend. So we're trying some different things. So
No, I was excited. They're bringing it to the chili cook-off.
All right.
Yeah, I told them they had to get there early though, so that they can drive on to get to the kid zone. But yeah, because the chair of that was like, hey, these people want to bring their van. I was like, oh yeah, no, that's fine. That's totally cool. We're on their park. So those people can bring their van. I just need them to
Well,
bring it
thank
early so that they don't run over anyone.
They got Marissa's approval. It's approved.
It was just funny. I was like, oh yeah, they can bring the van.
Very good. And thank you for that add-on, because when I saw that, it's been around for a little while, but well, thank you for sticking with it.
you got it.
All right. Item C, Management Services Division, Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Chair and board members. So I'll be super brief, but I just want to give a shout out to my staff. We finalized the MRCA audit this year, which it was a really rough year. It's going to the MRCA board tomorrow. So that was between switching to a new auditor and a lot of pass-through grants, it was very challenging. So just a huge shout out to Loretta and her team. And then also for HR and my finance, after the approval of the class and comp changes and the implementation plan, they have had to touch every single personnel file, every single entry into our system. So they're working so hard. So I just want to give a shout out for them for doing that. And then also I want to welcome back John.
Yes.
So yeah, he left for 2 years and we missed him and he apparently missed us. And I think Mark is delighted with the team right there. So just wanted to say thank you for coming back, John. And we love you too, Katie. Okay. And I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Smith? Okay, we're moving on to item D, General Manager's Report. Mr. Friedel.
Thank you, Chair Lang, members of the board. Just really quick, I had asked about Gratitude Circle and who is going to get whom in terms of inners, and it worked out great. You guys all just self-selected, so I needed 3 for Joe and 2 for Nellie. So kind of turned into a boy-girl thing. So the 3 male board members all had Joe, and Nellie had Beverly, and Marissa was very kind and said, whoever. So it works out great. And I'll give you guys some bullet point scripty stuff, but if you want to start getting in your head, that's who you're going to have. Like Joe, you can just do an internet search and find reams of paper. Beverly, not so much. She's pretty famous locally, but not so much on the internet. So pop-up concerts are gonna appear on your calendar, and Aline asked me to share that with you because she had spent a chunk of time this afternoon adding to the calendar all those concerts, but they all are on CRPD parks. It is a partnership, but I will say we're kind of we have the park and we told the city yes, and they're really carrying the water on everything else. And they do a really nice job. If you haven't been to one of the city's pop-ups, they're really great. And I think it's great for the community. The reticence over the years has maybe been, sometimes can be a lot for a little neighborhood park, but I think the public gets that once or twice a year being a little inconvenienced with a bunch of other people near their homes in a little park is okay. And it's for a good reason. And they don't stay late, and it's really nice. As a reminder, the Cosca City Bridge, what are we calling it? Not a dedication. So
Celebration?
Yeah, we'll call it a celebration, but that is going to be on May 14th, but they're actually looking for you to actually reply because they're asking about certain accommodations and stuff. And so if you wouldn't mind, if you plan to go, please do respond to that email. And then I did want to mention that, two things. One, yesterday, this is kind of like a report out. I got to do a Global Adult Community Center field trip with my mom. She invited me. We were on a bus trip called Bite of LA, and we basically went to like famous eateries to get like a little tiny small bite. So I think we ate at like 6 different restaurants over the course of the day, like Philippe's and an Old Bob's Big Boy and Smokehouse in Burbank area, and just all these different haunts that had really great stories, and the tour guide just had really great stories about all these places we stopped at. It was, and then I got to hang out with the Global Adult, a lot of other folks as well. So it was kind of fun. Yeah, it was neat. But I just wanted to close by, in the newspapers, you'll see like a little clarification section when you want to make sure that, we may not have said this totally accurate. Just at the last meeting, we mentioned on the Costco brush clearance item that it was just going to be a city approval than a CRPD approval. It actually is going to Costco. I just thought I'd bring that up because we kind of didn't get that exactly right last time, and I got the Costco drafted agenda with all the items on it, and so I was talking to Brian about it. So you will, as a Costco board member, see the brush clearance for a second time on the 15th. So with that, I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Frito. Any questions of our general manager? If not, we've got our director's reports and follow-up reports of meetings, conferences attended. I'm going to start with Director Nichols. I'm sorry.
On the 20th, I stopped by Arbor Earth Day. On the 24th, we had a Rancho Potrero Community Equestrian Center Ad Hoc Committee meeting. And then that evening, I went to the district-wide musical. And then on April 26th, I had a CARPD Conference Committee meeting. And that brings us to today.
Very good. You're a busy man.
And then I was in Arizona for the last 3 days. So other than that, nothing going on.
Okay. Director Buss.
I have been in chili cook-off craziness for the last 2 weeks, so I have nothing to report, but I'm excited to go on Monday when chili cook-off is over. I'm going to go visit the Chumash and get a tour. So, but no, last 2 weeks, I'm just
Very good. And
surviving.
Best of luck with the chili cook-off.
Thank you. I need it.
And I need to.
Yes. Oh, and if anybody, I do need to know if you are going to come for board. So I will send you parking passes and entry tickets if you want to come.
Yeah,
So
I want to.
you're going to come.
go.
Okay, perfect. Anybody else, just let me know. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll be there also.
Are you volunteering or you?
Oh, not volunteering, no.
Just to come.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll send you both passes and parking.
Thank you. Okay, Director Huffer, you're up.
Yeah, I had a chance to get to all three of the chorus concerts last week. And watching the little kids, the elementary kids, are so much fun to watch, and they're having so much fun up there, and they're waving at their parents, and the parents are yelling back at them, and the older siblings are yelling back at them, and you know, the Philharmonic Hall would have been a little horrified, but it was so much fun to watch. And then the middle school and the high school kids are so good and so professional. And, you know, I enjoyed all three of all three programs were a little bit different, but the finale for all three nights was from Hamilton. And, I loved Hamilton. I actually got to see it live several years ago and enjoyed it, but it was even better when they put it on the Disney Channel, because then I could do subtitles and understand everything that was going on. I missed a little bit in the live presentations, so and I'm looking forward to the CARPD conference up in Sonoma. I'm gonna actually go up a day early because I'm a lifetime member of the Charles Schultz Museum, so I'm going to spend a day at the Charles Schultz Museum prior to the conference. So I've got all my outfits ready to go. So other than that, nothing to report. We did 1 day of taxes yesterday. Is today Thursday? Yeah. So we did a bunch of tax returns yesterday, and once a month we'll continue to do taxes. So that's it.
Thank you, Director Huffer. And I too went to a chorus performance last week. It was the Newbury Park cluster, Newbury Park High School, and et cetera. And the elementary school director, and as you probably noticed, Director Huffer and anybody else, the elementary group is so much larger than, you know, the middle school and high school. It gets fewer and fewer. Well, obviously, there's probably more schools represented in the elementary, but anyway, the director for the Newbury Park cluster for the elementary was also the overall conductor. And to listen to this fellow, and I've heard him in a previous year too, and to hear him talk and how he relates to the kids and how they respond is amazing. And so try to hold on to that guy, because it seems like he's well respected with the other middle school and high school taking advantage of his talent, and he directs the whole group. I also attended the Rancho Potrero Community Equestrian Center Ad Hoc Committee meeting. I was here signing grants last week, and as was already related to, the MRCA meeting for yesterday was canceled, and it's now scheduled for tomorrow. So I'll be back here tomorrow for my MRCA meeting. And that's basically it for my director's reports. Anything else come to mind that you didn't? Okay. We're going on to item 12, request for status reports and items for subsequent agendas. Do we have anything that you'd like to discuss in the future? Nope. We're going on to item 13, items from the public. Do we have any public out there? Nope. Okay. And we have no need for an executive closed session. Nope. And I'm going to use my gavel. This meeting is adjourned.
Oh my gosh, thank goodness. I have my kids like all